Hello everyone, tonight on our program, Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana increases policy rate by 2.5% to 17%, a move expected to bring inflation under control and slow down depreciation of the cedi. But cost of loans are expected to go up. We hear from the Governor of the Bank of Ghana.
We also this morning have announced an increase in our policy rate. That action in itself should make our domestic assets more attractive and improve the incentives for investing in cedi-denominated assets.
The impact of the policy rate hike is expected to be felt in 2 weeks' time. We'll hear the thoughts of banking consultant Anotue Champon.
The 17% will reflect sooner rather than later.
Are we looking at maybe a quarter or maybe 2 quarters or something from your end to see where maybe a quarter?
Within a quarter.
That is quite...
Yes, I'm afraid that is the fact.
And Ghana to begin manufacturing electric vehicles from start to finish by 2023, a move towards cleaner energy.
Produced here in Ghana.
All right, thanks for being with us, everyone. Details in a moment. Well, welcome back to Business Live. As expected, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana has increased the policy rate, the rate at which it lends to commercial banks, by 2.5% to 17%. The decision is due to the current pressures on the economy, the uncertainty about the economic outlook, and developments in Russia and Ukraine, which have pushed fuel prices up astronomically. This is expected to control the rise in inflation and check the rapid depreciation of the cedi. But cost of loans is expected to go up. Here's Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison.
We've made foreign exchange available to the market broadly, and we think all of that should help in terms of mitigating the pace of depreciation of the cedi. Now, these are all short-term measures, immediate measures that we are taking to address the matter. But we also this morning have announced an increase in our policy rate. That action in itself should make our domestic assets more attractive and improve the incentives for investing in cedi-denominated assets. So the significant policy rate adjustment that you saw is also aimed at strengthening the cedi. Some of the medium to longer term actions, you mentioned the domestic gold purchasing program. These are things that would impact the level of gross reserves in the medium term. We've made quite some progress in terms, I think we've bought over 600 kilograms of doré gold. But this gold has to be refined to very high standards before they will qualify as a reserve asset. And we are in the process of fulfilling all the due diligence requirements that the refineries, the LBMA certified refineries in the world look out for. We are hoping, we are quite sure that in the next month or two, we would be able to export the doré gold that we have. And once that is refined, it will become part of our gross reserves. Issues that we also discussed at this weekend retreat in the medium term is also to look at some of the retention agreements that we have with the oil marketing, with the oil drilling companies, etc. These are really medium to longer term issues which should help improve the foreign exchange earning capacity.
All right, Governor of the Central Bank there, Dr. Ernest Adesimi, while banking consultant and Otoi Champon, has indicated that he expects the policy rate hike to impact the market within the next 2 months. He has been speaking to Joy Business's George Yafe.
It's in tune with the policy measures being taken by the Monetary Policy Committee, that is inflation targeting, which means you track your interest rate to inflation in tandem. So if inflation is rising, you have no option but to increase interest rate. That's what has happened in the US, that's what has happened in the UK, and it's happened in other European countries. And in fact, even in some emerging markets like ours. So I wasn't expecting interest rate to be reduced whilst inflation was rising. But the level of increase was a bit surprising. But upon reflection, you see that inflation presently is inching towards 17%. And therefore, you have to make sure that you go ahead of inflation rather than tag behind inflation. So it's given and we have to take it.
You're talking about the initial bit about being a little bit concerned, but some have even said that they were looking forward to about a 300 basis point jump to kind of deal with the situation tough right now. No.
You see, when you do inflation targeting, it's not a matter of trying to outsmart inflation or undersmart. You said you are targeting inflation and therefore you want to see interest rate within a band of 8 plus or minus 2%. And that is because you are also expecting inflation to be in single digits. Now, it hasn't been. Inflation has moved to 6.5%, getting to 17%. So why do you then go way above and say, I go to 18%, 20%? Then that is not inflation targeting. So the principles of inflation targeting is to match the two boot for boot, as they would say, and so it's in the right order.
Let's also look at, so for you, let's also look at the other monetary measures that the Bank of Ghana has put in place. They were not just looking at the policy rate hike, but also checking liquidity position of the commercial banks and other things that will try to mop up, quote, the excess currency in circulation as well. What do you also make of these other measures that the Bank of Ghana has put in place?
Well, checking the liquidity is also part of their function, as you rightly pointed out. And so if they can foresee that the liquidity is being used to dampen the system again, because the excess liquidity was being used to buy treasury bills, which defeats the purpose, because the treasury bills are bought when government is looking for money. And then these same treasury bills are sold when there's excess liquidity with the bank. So there has to be a check, and hence the decision to raise the reserve to 12% instead of the 9% that we used to have.
In the past, there have been concerns about the lag time, and even if you restrict ourselves to the policy rate and how its impact on the market. For you, as somebody who has studied this industry, are you optimistic about a quicker lag time that these measures could impact the market soon? Or again, it could take a while, and therefore the real impact that we are looking forward to might delay for us or might take a while longer before we see that impacting on the market?
Okay. Now, I think we've said it over and over again that the movement of interest rate is either northwards or southwards. When it's moving northwards, the transmission rate is pretty fast, as opposed to when it's moving southward. Could it be because when you are moving southwards, you are moving in reverse, and therefore it's difficult to negotiate? But when you are moving northwards, you are moving forward. And so, again, I will expect the transmission rate to be far quicker and faster than if interest rate had moved southwards. So the 17% will reflect sooner rather than later.
Are we looking at maybe a quarter or maybe 2 quarters or something from your end to see where, maybe a quarter?
Within a quarter.
That is quite sharp.
Yes, I'm afraid that is the fact that the reality of the issue, that when you're moving northwards, the transmission rate is faster. When you are moving southwards, the transmission rate is slower.
And that was Daryl Kwawu, a banking consultant. We're getting more reactions to the policy rate hike. Here is Chief Finance Officer at the Valley View University, Dr. Williams Wipra.
150 basis point, which is a 2.5% increase in the monetary policy rate, as I mentioned, is the same quotation that the governor used to be able to entice people to move from investing in foreign currencies.
Great.
And then rather invest in government securities. So by so doing, it will reduce the pressure on the dollar. So this is a short-term measure. And I also gave the implication that it's going to make cost of funds expensive in the country, as the governor also admitted that this is what is going to happen. So in the short term, we will see an increase in government instruments, especially the bonds, treasury bill. The rate will be going up. Cost of funds will be limited to investors or entrepreneurs to use in the country. But we hope that it should slow down the impact of the exchange rate devaluation of our currency. Because in fact, devaluation of a currency is more serious than to have inflation. Virtually, your currency becomes meaningless. You can't use it to buy anything. So this policy has been set right, and it's in the right direction.
Indeed.
I also find it interesting to hear the governor talked about purchasing of gold. It gives an indication that the governor and his team, they are trying to move away from the dollar reserves that we have. You see, in the past, as a country, our reserves has always been in dollars. That is why we have been borrowing dollars all the time, the $3 billion coming every year. And we think that we have international reserves that will cover us for 8 months. But in reality, it turned out to be a problem for us. But if they are now going to purchase commodity, that element of devaluation will be eroded and it will not happen again.
All right, you're watching Business Live. Still to come, Ghana to begin manufacturing electric vehicles from start to finish by 2023 as move towards cleaner energy intensifies.
It will be something which is developed, produced here in Ghana, so from Ghanaian people for Ghana.
All right, welcome back to Business Live. Ghana will manufacture its own electric cars from start to finish beginning 2023. This is a boost for the quest by the country to move towards the use of environmentally friendly vehicles. Manufacturers of the vehicle, Mana Mobility, have already engaged the Design and Technology Institute to partner in the manufacturing process. There's more in this report.
The move by Mana Mobility to establish its presence in Ghana is influenced by the country's quest towards the use of clean energy and the promulgation of the automotive policy by government. This idea, when successful, will make it the first automobile firm manufacturing all its components in the country. Chief Executive of Mana Mobility Germany, Peter Schwarzenberg, told Joy Business all regulatory bodies are being engaged to ensure a smooth take-off. He was speaking after a stakeholder meeting to introduce the design and concept of the vehicle to some selected agencies in the capital.
But it will be something which is developed, produced here in Ghana, so from Ghanaian people for Ghana. This is a big difference to how normally an OEM would operate here in this country. So we want to do it here. And now the next steps are for the next 5-6 months, we are building some prototypes so that we can see also in real life and not only on PowerPoint. And as soon as we have the prototypes ready, comes a phase where you need to get the registration right, you need to legalize the car here in this market. So I would say somehow in spring, summer 2023, we are probably ready to get started with the production. That's the current plan.
Director General of the Ghana Standards Authority, Professor Alex Dodu, after the engagement, described the entry of Mana Mobility into the country as timely. He, however, called for more support for the local artisans.
One, we have capacity to check the quality of the vehicles, but importantly, we have capacity to actually develop the components manufacturing. Now that is where we need to have a national conversation, because that's where the money is. The guys are doing it, but we are not doing it according to standards, nor reproducibly, nor at scale. And I think it's about time we really wake up and say that, look, this is a lot of money for the Republic of Ghana. And how do we help? Some of the decisions may include, and it's beyond my pay grade, but I'll say it, may include literally supporting the guys in Swami Magazine and other places to actually just standardize and produce precision issues. Because why? These people are very smart men, businessmen and women.
The company is hoping to use the country to enter into other African markets.
Now, stakeholders in Ghana's social security industry have been meeting over immediate steps to extend pension coverage to the self-employed and the informal sector. This is because 10 million Ghanaian workers in the informal sector risk economic hardship as they are not under any social security coverage. Take a listen to the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Ignatius Bafewa, who says the relevance of SNIT will be questioned if these numbers are not captured.
The trust was set up for workers. And when we say workers, we are not talking just about formal workers, but we are talking of workers in totality. So for me, all that while that SNIT has been in operation, they have not actually been living up to their mandate in totality. Why am I saying so? We have roughly 12 million persons in work. And out of this 12 million, those who are enrolled in one form of pension or the other are less than 2 million. So it means that you have about 10 million persons who are working but are not on any form of social security coverage. And these people eventually at their old ages will turn out to become burden on their wards. So I think that we should all give SNIT the needed support to enable them to be able to implement this new project that they are bringing on board.
Meanwhile, Director General of SNIT, John Ofori-Tinkwang, has clarified that the trust is not an investment but rather an insurance scheme. He believes the misconception about the fund is a disincentive to capturing more workers onto the trust.
The approach is quite different, and for us, the approach would be, how do we convince them that they are, of all the things that they could be doing with their money whilst they are actively trading or whilst they are working, of all the other the insurance schemes that they could be involved in, the SNIT scheme is the best one that they should avail themselves of. I think if we're able to convince them and show them that that is indeed the case, then they themselves will come. I always give the example, at the other time I was even talking to my staff, and I asked them, how many of you here in this room heard of Men's Gold before it became famous? Before it became famous, and what I meant by that is before they went under. And almost everybody in the room said they did. So I asked them, I was talking to SNIT people, so I asked them, how many compliance officers did they have? The answer is 0. And so if there were no compliance officers knocking at their doors to tell them that they should be bringing in their money, how come when you showed up at a Men's Gold office, there was a line of people wanting to go and give money? The answer is that the people saw value in it. So I said, well, if we can show people that what we have is a superior product, superior to what is out there, right? Then we shouldn't have too much trouble getting people to join. Every money that one has a purpose. There is chop money. There is money for clothes. There is money for electricity.
Dr. John Oforin-Tinkwan there. Now time for your money tips on Money Lab.
Hello there, welcome to the Money Lab. Today we'll look at what the dealing membership rules are. Now, these rules are concerned with the eligibility and conditions for membership of the Ghana Stock Exchange, the code of conduct for its members as they relate between themselves, the investing public and the Ghana Stock Exchange, and how disputes can be resolved and disciplinary action taken. Membership on the stock exchange is by application.
All right, more news on our website, myjournalline.com/business. We've got the day's latest, including more on the policy rate hike to 17%, and business confidence declines, economic activity slows down. Read more on myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl Kwawu. We will be back same time tomorrow.